Hi, and welcome back to another edition of Alec and Wyatt Weekly. I'm Alec McChesney.
And I'm Wyatt Wheeler, and this is a special episode because it's our last episode of the season.
But more importantly, it's special because of what we're going to do today.
Because we're wearing suits.
Well, we had to wear suits, but realistically, it's special because of the weeklies. No, these aren't the Dundies, but they're pretty dang close, and in my opinion, they're a little bit better.
I think they're better than the Oscars, the ESPYs, the Emmys, the Grammys.
I'm just saying that everybody at Missouri State had an excellent year as an athlete.
We had a lot of candidates for this.
And
a lot of good discussion.
Going forward in life, are going to have an opportunity to win a lot of awards and collect a lot of, prestigious things. But this is by far the most important.
I don't know
it's
what
the best one. And I think that this should be an honor for everyone. Because it's Alec and Wyatt Weekly, and it's the first ever one.
I'm honored to be on the piece of paper. I'm Wyatt.
And I'm Alec. So without further ado, let's get started.
Let's see how this goes.
Well, let's wait. The first one is Male Athlete of the Year. For this, we had a couple of good options. You have Dylan Cole, you had Alizé Johnson, you have Jake Berger, you have Jeremy Ironman. For me, I voted for Berger. I think being a first-round pick should probably get you in this award. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think Alizé Johnson might be on an NBA team.
That's true.
So I think it's gonna be close.
Who is it? Let's find out.
They're all like together. And the Alec and Wyatt Weekly goes to Jake Berger.
I'm not shocked. I mean, he is having one of the best years, and Missouri State baseball is, at this point, simply incredible. They're obviously undefeated in the Missouri Valley, so can't really argue with that. Could have seen Alizé take that, but for male athlete, there's really no better choice.
And Jake's hit like 500 home runs this season. It's been a lot.
He has been good. So I think that's, obviously next year, if he were to return, he'd be a sure favorite to win that award. But otherwise, Alizé, if he comes back, you got Jeremy Ironman, you're going to have some really good options going into next season for that award. Now, for the second one.
We have some good options here.
Yes, Female Athlete of the Year. This is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Liza from women's basketball, Lady Bears, had one of the best seasons ever, and she was a person who could have won the Most Improved Player, the Breakout Player, or the Female Athlete of the Year.
And it's just a shame because I think, in my opinion, we might have the greatest volleyball player in the world.
Yes, at this point, it looks like it's going to be Lily Johnson. Twitter made it seem like it was Lily Johnson. Lily is as good as it gets, USA team. But the winner of the Female Athlete of the Year is Lily Johnson. That's not shocking. Obviously, Jake Berger and Lily Johnson, you expect them to win a lot of these awards. Let's face it, they're all Americans. So, not
and
shocked.
they're Team USA.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, let's move on. Coach of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little bit more interesting.
This was tougher because some of the teams didn't go too far, or they got to like the same spot. So you see like volleyball with Coach Melissa Stokes, first round. You see with Coach Gutton, they might make the NCAA tournament, but we're not too sure where they're going to end yet.
Right.
So I think there are a couple of good candidates here.
You also loved Coach Steck just because of how he handled the transition from the Brock Ruddock saga and just kind of everything improving from 1-10 season. I know Twitter was kind of off and on with a lot with Coach Stokes with volleyball. Volleyball was just so good this year. So for me, I thought that she should win, but it should be a pretty interesting one. So
I was a big Steck fan because he did go through all that, and the team did improve.
Right.
110 it wasn't too hard to improve from 110, but for him to do it the way he did,
right.
They look watchable.
Listen, they're definitely on the up and up, but the people have spoken.
The people have spoken. And the award goes to, they're stuck together again.
Wyatt struggles with these things.
We did not. I don't like it when
when he doesn't like it when his fingers touch, so it's a real issue.
The Alec and Wyatt Weekly goes to Melissa Stokes. She's a Hall of Famer. I don't think you can go wrong here.
The volleyball team was fantastic this year. They are in it for the best team of the year, but I just think, you have to. They won 21 straight games, I think, during the regular season.
There was a point in the season where you thought they might never lose again.
Right.
And a big part of that is Coach Stokes.
And let's just say, sweeping the Coach of the Year and then Female Athlete of the Year, that's a pretty big deal. Could do it again next year.
Huge honor.
Yes.
It's a huge honor. We can't stress how big of an honor it is to win one of these awards.
Now, for this next award, we got the Most Improved Player of the Year. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about most improved, it's not a slight on that person in the year before.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how far they've come. So you've got Jeremy Ironman. You've got a player like Alize Johnson. He just came from a JUCO. You know, there are all sorts of these players.
Liza Freund, she came off the bench last year. Next year, she's going in as the favorite for Missouri Valley Player of the Year.
And the favorite to win, you know, one of these awards. So that's obviously a big deal. But for me, it's Ironman. We talked about it. Ironman showed a little bit of inconsistency as a freshman, and he is blossomed into being the top shortstop in the country, and that doesn't happen. He
might be better than Berger someday, and that's like wow. That's
it's scary. It's scary to talk
statement,
about.
But he's good.
Yeah.
Last year, really struggled defensively.
Yeah.
This year, he's making every single play.
Yeah, he's one of the best defensive.
It's been night and day. So
well, let's find out. The most improved player of the year goes to, what do you know? Jeremy Ironman. It's almost like we know who was going to win these. We don't.
But we didn't. These were put in here at random.
But the truth of the matter is that you can't deny that. Jeremy has really helped this baseball team move forward, and let's face it, he's providing protection for Jake Berger, and that's made Berger even better. So he's really made a huge difference.
Dirty left side. It's the best. We've said this multiple times. It's the best left side of the infield in the world.
Yeah, I mean, in college baseball, you can't argue that at this point, and Jeremy's obviously played a huge part of that.
I think an MLB team will be happy to have that side, that kind of left side of the infield
in 3-4 years, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we move on from most improved player to the breakout player. This is a lot like that, but more of just like
they just break out.
Yeah, I mean, I know what people are thinking. You know, Liza Freund obviously came out of nowhere. She had that crazy game against Drake where she puts up 45-something points. That's a huge game. But for me, who knew who Alize Johnson was a year and a half ago? Nobody. And at this point, he's working out with the Boston Celtics, will be a future NBA player, and if he returns to campus next year, should lead Missouri State to a Missouri Valley Conference championship. So for me, breakout player this year is Alize. I don't really know how you could argue that very much.
I like Jeremy Ironman too, because like we just talked about, he struggled a little bit last year, but this year you're like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no denying.
He could, like, if there was no such thing as Jake Berger, we'd be talking. Jeremy Ironman might be winning every single award we have.
Right.
So
let's find out. It's gonna be a close one between Jeremy, Liza, and Alize.
The winner for the Alec. We did not practice.
Is
me and him, because we did very good at our volleyball game.
Yeah,
like
true. We should have been the athletes of the year.
We broke out, but
who won?
It was Alize.
Yeah. Let's face it.
There's no arguing this one.
Yes. I think let's put it this way. You can make the case for others, but you can't argue how good Alize was this year. And how good, he should win male athlete. He could still win most improved. He should win best play. Like, he should win all of these things.
He could even win best team. I don't know how, but, he's good.
One of the awards he is up for this year, again, is our next one. Best player of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, our options for this were the Zach Drake game-winning field goal. You had Zach Hoover's one-handed catch.
It's crazy catch.
You had Alize Johnson's throw down of a dunk against Wichita State.
That was your favorite.
That is my favorite. He put everything on Wichita State right there. And, of course, you have Jake Berger's walk-off home run.
My favorite, because I was at Hammons Field from 11 a.m. to about 2 a.m.
Right.
And I just wanted to go home and sleep. Jake Berger made that possible by hitting it out of the park.
And at the end of the day, I voted for Alize, but Jake Berger's home run won the game. They stayed undefeated in the Valley, and obviously they're still undefeated now. So I'm not going to be shocked if you guys voted for that, but we'll find out. You notice how smooth I can handle this because I'm not strange.
Very good at pulling papers out of a folder. Add that to your resume.
Yes. The Alec and Wyatt Weekly Best Player of the Year goes to Jake Berger and his walk-off home run. Obviously, he won the game. Zach Drake's won the game too, but this was a little bit different. Big crowd, 2 a.m. in the morning. 12th, 11th inning, something like that.
You let me go to sleep, you win an award. All right? Thank you,
That's
Jake.
true.
Thank you.
Now, another award Berger's up for is best team with the Missouri State baseball team. Who do you think could win this? What do you view?
I was a big fan of the volleyball team because they had that streak where it looked like they would never lose.
Right.
Have a couple Team USA people, 2-time defending Missouri Valley Player of the Year.
Right.
Kind of hard to argue with that one. They were that good, but there's a team still playing right now that challenges that.
I think that the baseball team has an advantage because they're playing right now. And so on Twitter, everyone's kind of thinking,
under,
they're saying, oh my gosh, they're still 18-0.
I ran some polls over winter break, and everybody's like, all right, volleyball.
Right.
So now baseball's in season, and they're like, okay.
I think it's just hard. I mean, you look at that lineup, you look at the completeness of the team with the coach over 1,200 wins. You know, to me, it's baseball team. But if it was volleyball, I wouldn't be. Or actually, it was volleyball or women's swimming, I wouldn't be utterly shocked just because of the dominance that they displayed in certain situations. So let's go ahead.
So let's see if I can do this. Probably can't. Nope. Actually.
Uh-oh. Look at this. Oh, he made it so much worse. Oh, he made it. Well.
The weekly goes to
baseball.
It's baseball.
And I mean, we don't know how they're going to end up, but I think at this point, even if they faltered at the end of the year and didn't make it to Omaha, didn't win a national championship, all this stuff, you still have to look back and say this is one of the most historic and best seasons they've ever had, going this far into the season without losing the Missouri Valley, having those 4 players hitting over 335. Like, it's a complete team.
They've gone a whole year without losing a Missouri Valley Conference regular season game.
That's absurd.
That's crazy.
And they have an opportunity to finish the regular season undefeated this upcoming weekend.
And they play last place Illinois State.
So that would be very disappointing if they lost that one. Now, this next one, we might take a little bit of heat for. The award is for the story of the year. There are a lot of good stories. There was the Jake Berger going to the MLB draft, potentially being a first-round pick. There is Dylan Cole signing with the Houston Texans. There's Alize Johnson. There's all these things. But unfortunately, we did have some rough patches.
Yeah, it was a tough year. I mean, you go into the job thinking, all right, game recaps, columns about the game. But, you know, some different kind of stuff happened this year that we weren't really thinking was going to be a thing going into the job.
You never like to write stories like when field hockey when they get cut as a program, or when the track and field no longer is able to host, you know, the Missouri Valley Conference meet. Those are things that we don't enjoy, but sometimes you have to do it. And one that we especially did not enjoy was the Breck Ruddock saga. I mean, all of that with that whole incident. But at the end of the day, that to me was the biggest story. We're not saying we're giving Breck Ruddock an award, but we are going to give, if he were to win, basically the award to Coach Dave Steckel for the way he handled it, just the way that the school went about it. We thought that was a very tough situation and something that we were on top of throughout the fall and even into this semester. And I think that's the story of the year, in my opinion.
And he kept the team together, and that was the most important part to me, because they could have really. They had the one win against a pile of rocks, and then they go lose to Kansas State, but they beat Murray State. So they could have really just fallen off the face of the earth.
Right.
But still, Brody Lambert was able to come in, show that he maybe should have been the starter in the first place.
Right.
But it was a tough story, but around it and how the team handled it, definitely very, very impressive.
Well, let's find out. We'll go for the story of the year. Wow, that was smooth. And it is the Breck Ruddock story. Like I said, we're not giving this award to Breck Ruddock, but you know, I just think that most campuses don't have a situation like that, and it was something that obviously we were not in love with covering, but something that you have to cover, and hopefully next year we're covering national championships and undefeated seasons.
And we could be covering that in a few weeks.
Yes,
with
this baseball team. Now let's move to a brighter note to finish it off with best game of the year. This had a lot of good options. What were your favorite here?
My favorite was the Aaron Meyer game. Yeah. The Mizzou home win, that they were able to stay together and go out and win the game for Aaron Meyer after he went down hurt in the first inning.
Right, and I think the nice thing about that is that it was also against Mizzou. So, like, that game already had the whole mantra of it, you know, the billboards. Jake Berger's been very active on Twitter letting people know that Springfield, Missouri State, those two are together. So that game already had enough emotion.
And there was some good football games, too. You had the Western Illinois comeback. You had a big win over Indiana State. I think we could have had some really good basketball games be up for this if they were able to close out and win them. And even though Missouri State volleyball lost to Ohio State in the tournament, in the NCAA tournament, they still beat the ranked team in the regular season.
I will tell you what, if Liza Freund, the Lady Bears, would have beat Drake in that game where she put up 45, 48 points, that would have been really tough to turn down. But at the end of the day, I have to agree. I know people are probably going to agree on this Mizzou one because they don't like Mizzou.
And they can also agree that I can't pull papers.
There's only 2 left.
Folder.
Nice.
And the weekly goes to baseball's win against Mizzou.
And I think that's I think that's fair. One thing that we should be excited for is that next year that award could go to football versus Mizzou. Because that's going to be a big rivalry game at the beginning of the year.
It'll be the first one, and if they're able to upset Mizzou, then that might be one of the bigger wins in the history of this sport.
I would agree with that. Now, that'll do it for the awards for the athletes, but we do have one more award in here, and it's going to come to a surprise to a lot of people, but it's the Alec and Wyatt Weekly Producer of the Year, and we are presenting this to Ryan Welch.
What? That's not
it's Nina.
The paper says Nina.
It's Nina. I'm so sorry. Steve Harvey, that. Oh my goodness, that is so awkward.
She's right behind the camera too.
Hold on, let me make sure about this. It is. No, it was. It was Nina. Nina did win.
Wow.
So that came to a shock to us. But obviously she has really put in a lot of work for this, and
she's trying very, very hard right now to not laugh behind the camera.
Or punch us. Either one of those. But we just wanted to thank you guys for taking this ride with us, but we just want you to know also.
But there's a big announcement, right? We got renewed for another season.
It's not. We just want you to know we're not done.
We did it.
We have so much more in store, and next year we're gonna treat this like it's as ESPN can get, but in a back corner of Clay Hall. So, and then with a trash can in the back left corner once we get the trash back. It's fun. But we're going to be here, so you might as well try to have some fun with us. We're going to be bowling every Wednesday, and we know that everyone loves bowling.
Come join us.
So let's hang out. Let's have a good time. And realistically, if you did win an Alec and Wyatt Weekly, please do hit us up on Twitter. Reach out to us. Come get it signed. Sign it, take it away, get it framed. This is a big deal, and we want you to act like it is one. So that'll do it for me. You good?
I don't know.
Yeah?
But
pass your finals?
Yeah, we'll be around during the summer, so this isn't goodbye.
No, it's not.
See you later.
Nina's telling me no, so have a good night. That'll do it for this episode of Alec and Wyatt Weekly.
Goodbye, friends.
That was a good shot.
That was a good shot.
One more.